The Morrigan, Celtic goddess of war and fate. Visual opens on a mist-covered battlefield at dawn. The distant sound of war horns echoes through the air, mingled with the haunting cawing of ravens. The camera pans over ancient standing stones, etched with mysterious symbols. Hey folks, ever wondered about the mysterious figures lurking in the shadows of ancient legends? Today, we're diving deep into the misty realms of Celtic mythology to uncover one of its most formidable deities. She's the enigma who weaves the threads of war and destiny, known to foretell doom and victory alike. Meet the Morrigan, the phantom queen who presides over the fate of mortals and gods. So grab a comfy seat and maybe a warm drink, 'cause we're about to unravel the tales of a goddess who embodies war, fate, and sovereignty. Let's explore her origins, her legends, and why her influence is still felt today. Origins of the Morrigan. Alright, let's kick things off with where it all began. The name, Morrigan, is packed with meaning. In Old Irish, it translates to Great Queen, or Phantom Queen. Pretty intense, right? Depending on the text, you might see variations like Morrigu, or Morrigan, but they all point back to this powerful figure. Now, to really get who the Morrigan is, we need a quick snapshot of Celtic society. The Celts had a rich culture where mythology wasn't just bedtime stories. It was a way to understand the world. They believed in the Tuatha De Danann, a race of supernatural beings who were basically the rock stars of Irish myth. The Morrigan held a special spot among them. She wasn't just any goddess. She was linked to the very fabric of life and death, war and peace. Her relationships with other deities were complex. She interacted with gods like Dagda, the good god, and had a hand in many of the major events that shaped the mythical landscape of Ireland. The Morrigan's role in mythology. So, what was the Morrigan all about? Let's break it down. As the goddess of war, she wasn't just cheering from the sidelines. She had a direct influence over battles and warriors. There are tales of her appearing before warriors to foretell their doom or victory. Imagine heading into battle and seeing her figure looming. You'd pay attention. But she wasn't just a war deity. She was also the goddess of fate and prophecy. The Morrigan had the uncanny ability to foresee and even shape destinies. There are myths where she predicts the downfall of heroes or entire kingdoms. What's really fascinating is her embodiment of life and death. She wasn't all doom and gloom. She was connected to the cycles of creation and destruction. In some stories, she guides souls to the afterlife, acting as a psychopomp. Cool word, right? It means someone who escorts souls after death. The triple aspect of the Morrigan. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The Morrigan is often depicted as a triple goddess. In Celtic belief, the number 3 was significant, symbolizing completeness and balance. She manifested in 3 forms. Badibi, crow, symbolizing predation and the fury of war. Badibi would appear on battlefields as a crow, influencing the outcome of conflicts. Picture crows circling overhead. Definitely adds to the battlefield's ominous vibe. Macha, battle, or plain, associated with sovereignty and the land itself. One legendary tale tells of Macha's curse upon the men of Ulster, rendering them helpless at their time of greatest need. Nemain, frenzy, she represents the chaos and panic that can overtake armies. There are stories where Nemain's mere presence causes soldiers to turn on each other in confusion. These 3 aspects aren't just separate entities, they interweave to form a full picture of the Morrigan's power. It's like looking at different sides of the same coin, each bringing a unique flavor to her character. Symbols and iconography. Symbols play a huge role in mythologies, and the Morrigan is no exception. Crows and ravens are her most iconic symbols. These birds were seen as omens and messengers. On the battlefield, the sight of a crow could mean the Morrigan was watching, or worse, that doom was near. Then we have horses and cattle. In Celtic society, these animals represented wealth and status. The Morrigan often appears in myths involving them, emphasizing her connection to prosperity and sustenance. One of her coolest abilities is shapeshifting. She could transform into animals or even other humans. There are tales of her becoming a wolf, an eel, or a heifer. Shape-shifting wasn't just a party trick, it showed her mastery over life, nature, and the elements. Artifacts and ancient carvings depict the Morrigan with these symbols. If you ever get a chance to explore Celtic art, keep an eye out for those intricate knotwork designs. They often hide deeper meanings. The Morrigan in legendary tales. Time for some storytelling. One of the most famous sagas involving the Morrigan is her interactions with the hero Cuchulainn. First encounter. The Morrigan approaches Cuchulainn offering her love and support. But being a proud warrior, he dismisses her. Not the smartest move, she warns him that rejecting her won't end well. Subsequent encounters. True to her word, she tries to hinder him in battle, taking on various disguises: a heifer, an eel, and a wolf. Despite her efforts, Cuchulainn wounds her each time. But here's the twist. Later, she appears as an old woman milking a cow. He blesses her, unknowingly healing the wounds he inflicted. Final reconciliation. Before his death, she appears again, solidifying the idea that one cannot escape fate. It's a profound tale about pride, destiny, and the interconnectedness of their paths. In the epic Toyn Bo Qualanage, the cattle raid of Cooley, the Morrigan plays a pivotal role. Her prophecies and interventions impact the course of the war between Ulster and Connacht. She's like the ultimate chess master, moving pieces behind the scenes. These stories highlight her influence not just on individual heroes but on entire events within Irish mythology. The Morrigan's influence on modern culture. Fast forward to today, and the Morrigan is far from forgotten. In literature and poetry, she pops up in contemporary novels, especially in the fantasy genre. Authors love reimagining her myths, bringing that ancient magic to modern audiences. Artists have also embraced her. In visual arts, she's depicted in paintings, illustrations, and even digital art. The imagery often includes crows, battlefields, and ethereal landscapes. She's made her way into film and television too. Shows that delve into mythology or fantasy sometimes feature her as a character, weaving her ancient tales into new storylines. And let's not forget video games. The Morrigan shows up in games as a powerful character, boss, or reference. Her presence adds depth and a touch of mystique, especially in fantasy and role-playing genres. The Morrigan's relevance in modern spirituality. Beyond media, the Morrigan has a significant place in modern spirituality. In neo-paganism and Wicca, she's revered by some practitioners. People hold rituals and celebrations in her honor, seeking her guidance in matters of strength, transformation, and sovereignty. From a feminist perspective, the Morrigan is seen as a symbol of female empowerment. She embodies autonomy and power, standing as an example of a woman who doesn't conform to anyone's expectations. On a deeper level, psychologists have analyzed her as an archetype. In Jungian psychology, she represents aspects of the shadow self and inner conflicts. Her stories offer a way to explore themes of personal transformation and facing one's own darkness. Symbolism of war and fate today. So, how does all this ancient stuff relate to us now? Well, the themes from the Morrigan's myths resonate with many modern issues. The chaos and unpredictability she represents can parallel today's conflicts, be they global, social, or personal. Her control over fate sparks discussions about free will versus destiny. Do we chart our own paths, or are some things just meant to be? The Morrigan also serves as a cautionary figure. Her stories remind us about the consequences of hubris and the importance of respecting forces greater than ourselves. As we wrap up our journey, it's clear that the Morrigan's legacy is as powerful today as it was centuries ago. She's a testament to the enduring nature of myths and how they continue to shape our culture and consciousness. Whether as a goddess of war, a harbinger of fate, or a symbol of empowerment, the Morrigan fascinates us. She challenges us to look within, to confront our fears, and to embrace the complexities of life. So next time you see a crow perched ominously or feel the winds of change blowing, you might just wonder if the Morrigan is near, weaving her threads of destiny. Thanks for hanging out with me on this dive into Celtic mythology. If you enjoyed unraveling the mysteries of the Morrigan, smash that like button and subscribe for more mythical explorations. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you come across the Morrigan in books, games, or maybe even your own spiritual journey? Drop a comment below and let's chat. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll be delving into the legends of another fascinating figure from ancient lore. Here's a hint. This one carries a hammer and isn't afraid to use it. Until our next journey into the myths of old, may the tales of the ancients inspire your path. Take care and see you soon. Closing visual returns to the misty battlefield. A crow takes flight into the sunrise, symbolizing new beginnings.